Hi, loves. It's Allie Cody here. I am the founder and CEO of Avocado Alley, where we focus on healing through food, through faith, and through a whole lot of fun as well. Today, we're going to talk about the dangers of hospital food. In fact, we're just going to get started with some of the snacks today. We're not even going to get into the meals, and you're going to be in shock. But first, don't forget to subscribe below and ring the bell. That way, every time a new episode drops in, you will be the first to know. All right, I was in the hospital, not myself, but to visit my friend who ended up passing away, my longtime bestie. And I was in shock at the food that was being offered. And many times, and we'll get into this next time, many times they were trying to keep her from having certain nutrients or trying to make sure she had certain nutrients. And the foods that she was being allowed to have contradicted what they were trying to do. And it really boggled my mind. So I wanted to do a couple episodes and kind of share with you what's going on and how a certified holistic nutritionist views some of these things, because it may be a little bit different than how your average person views this. Because in my mind, I was just in awe. So, hospital food dangers, and this is part one of a two-part series. Now, I'm just getting this week into the staple snack items. So again, not necessarily the meals. The staple items that you're going to find available to you and readily given to you when you're in the hospital: applesauce, ginger ale, Ensure, pudding, and popsicles. Yeah, so not the healthiest. And even the things on there that you think are healthy, not so much. So let's start with the applesauce. 22 grams of sugar in a single serving of Mott's applesauce. Now, granted, some of that might be natural sugar. The label really should tell us what is natural and what is added sugar. But then look over to the right in the bottom here. It also contains high fructose corn syrup. And we know this is not good for us. It's a carcinogen. It affects every organ in our body. It affects our behavior, our mental health, our overall health. Just why would we feed someone who's already sick any item that has high fructose corn syrup? Why? We're trying to get them better, right? Well, this goes against that. So that's the first thing I did notice when I was visiting my friend one time when she had a short hospital stay. Because she was in and out of the hospital mid-October to mid-November, and then the last 5 weeks of her life, starting right before Thanksgiving, she was in the ICU for 5 weeks. So I just really was able to get an in-depth look. I wasn't there for that, of course, but now looking back, I just really want to share with you because it's not good. And we have to really speak up for the hospitals to make changes. And I know there are some hospitals that are making changes. This is Advent Help, where she was. And we were in Altamont Springs, Florida. Okay, next up, ginger ale. Ginger ale is offered to anyone staying at the hospital. This is something readily available. And again, high fructose corn syrup. And look there's no natural sugars in here. It's all added sugars, 35 grams. Do you know the maximum amount of sugar that you should have? Well, for women and children, the maximum amount of added refined sugar, fake sugar, is 25 grams. And then for men, it's about 10 grams more than that, 35 or 36. So right now, we got the 35 grams of sugar from the ginger ale. Then we have the applesauce. Even if half of that is refined sugar, so let's say 11, then we've got 46 grams. We're way over, almost double what our daily refined sugar consumption should be. And again, we have the high fructose corn syrup. So we're in the hospital to get well, right? This is not helping us, not at all. All right, what's the next item? Ensure. Now, Ensure is a doctor's go-to. You're going to take Ensure, you're going to get all the nutrients. Let me tell you, I recently got my father off Ensure and have him on a shake that I recommend for my clients. He is feeling so much better. He's only made some minor changes. That I got him off Gatorade and put him on it's not healthy, but a healthier sparkling water with the electrolytes. And then he's now using a Beamer, which is an equipment that we have at our home. He still doesn't eat that great, but just those changes alone, he's been able to kiss the oncologist goodbye and go check in every 3 months because he was diagnosed with a bone cancer and he was having to go in weekly for shots. Then he was going in monthly, and then they said, what are you doing? Because all your levels are great. And then they had him coming in every 3 months, and now I think they just have him coming in every 6 months, twice a year to check in. So he is reversing his diagnosis. It's possible, but it's not possible many times if you do what they're telling you to do, because look at this Ensure. It's got 14 grams of added sugar. No one needs that, especially someone who's trying to get well. And there's many other items. I'm not going to get into all the ingredients there, but there's many chemicals in there that we do not want. So just because something says it's got 9 grams of protein, 220 calories, 27 vitamins and minerals, does not mean that it doesn't also have a ton of chemicals. We can get vitamins and minerals without all the chemicals. Just eat real food. All right, and then the other thing that you readily get is pudding. Now, I wasn't sure the exact brand, so I tried to get as close to, a good brand of pudding as possible. I know it wasn't anything organic or anything plant-based or anything like that, that's for sure. So I found this one, and it's advertised as 0 trans fat, no artificial growth hormones used, no high fructose corn syrup, that's good, no preservatives. Can't believe all the labels. Yes, that's true. Does that mean it's healthy? No. It's also made with real milk. I hope most of you realize by now that dairy is not our friend. No one should be drinking dairy. No human was meant to consume the lactation of a cow. I'm not getting into that. That's a whole nother episode. All right, so what about the sugars? It's got 12 grams of sugars, and those are added sugars. So it only has 1 gram of natural sugar. 12 grams of added sugar. The most you should ever have, again, is what? Ladies, 25 grams. Men, 35 grams. So that's almost half. And this maximum refined sugar is not a goal. The goal is 0. That's your goal. And I could go into more of this with some of the other chemicals in here, but we're not getting into that. We're just going to look at the sugar. We're going to keep it nice and simple. Here are some of the other ingredients. We've got that modified cornstarch, the palm oil, not good stuff, artificial flavors, coloring added, all of that. All right, next up, popsicles, very popular in the hospital for adults and children alike. High fructose corn syrup. 8 grams of sugar. Not even getting into all of the artificial coloring and flavors. These are carcinogens. And we become so numb to this in the Western society that doctors, the medical staff, and they're doing, the best they can, but they don't even realize that what we're giving these patients is killing them. And many times it has to do with contracts and business and who the hospital does have a long-term contract with as a supplier. So it's not about the patient's health. So let's add this up. And again, these are just snacks. So we haven't even gotten to meals. This is just like maybe half a day of a snack if someone is consuming food. So total 80 grams of added sugars, at least. And I'm keeping that at a minimum by only accounting for half of the applesauce because it didn't break up natural and added. So at least 80 grams of sugar. Wow. Almost 3 times the amount of sugar. Oh, no. Quick math here. For ladies, over 3 times and almost 3 times for men. And all but 2 of those items had the high fructose corn syrup. And the items that didn't have it had some other chemicals that are like modified corn and things that are not natural for us. So next time, we are going to talk about hospital nutrient confusion. And this is just confusion that I was able to witness. I'm sure there's much more. So that's what we're going to talk about next time. And I hope this was beneficial to you guys. Go ahead and look at the description on the bottom. There's a link to join my Facebook group. And then if you're interested in being part of my program, you can find information below on that as well. Have a fabulous, fabulous day. Love you.